I think Seattle, they are not tippy-toeing. They are stomping in your direction. And I think the best thing you can say about them is that you cannot ignore them. Here they come. You had better be ready, or the reigning defending two-time NFC champions will knock you off.
And now it's time for another edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. With your hosts, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and welcome 12s to a very special episode 321, the Ravens edition of your 12th Man Fan Jam show. The show made up of Seahawk fans from around the world just like you, talking about your Seattle Seahawks. Over the next few moments we share together, we hope that you are entertained as we discuss your Seahawks as they prepare to take on the Baltimore Ravens. So sit back, relax, grab a desired beverage or sin of your choice, and remember, the Ravens shall never score. As is the usual with every show, I am joined by the 12th Man Fan Jam posse, a ragtag group of diehard Seahawk fans just like you from around the world. First, my partner in crime, the yin to my yang, from merry old England. Welcome back, Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Moses. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Matt. How are you today?
Well, I bring good news and bad.
Oh, do share.
Well, the good news is apparently my country is now in the tradition of getting petitions to ban things coming from America, which is great.
That's wonderful. What's the bad news?
Well, the bad news is my online petition to stop the Jacksonville Jaguars coming to London has only received 15 signatures so far.
That's very sad.
Nice.
Very sad.
Disastrous.
Yes. Poor Jaguar fans. Also, and those poor English fans that have to watch the Jaguars. Also from the state of Washington, our very own news hound. His 12th Man editorials can be found on SeahawksSal.com. You know him as Shadowhawk. We know him as Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Great. How you doing? How you
doing? I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to seeing us win 3 road playoff games on our way back to the Super Bowl this year.
I think I can dig that. I think we can all dig that. I think the kids can dig that. The kids are here. Hey, kids, you dig that?
They had to think about it for a second.
The kids were on delay, but they got there. Also from the state of Washington, he is Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, going back to that Jacksonville thing, you think if the NFL was wanting to expand to other countries and make them want to watch football, they wouldn't send Jacksonville? Do you think they send a good team? I don't understand that business model there.
I get that. I feel that. I definitely feel that. Because it's funny, because I know, Matt, when they have them over there, you're like, people are like, why don't you go to the game? And you're like, because it's Jacksonville. They suck.
Oh, it happens all the time. They're like, well, yeah, Matt, but it's American football. You're going to watch that? I'm not going to go and watch that rubbish. Are you insane?
Yeah. We're throwing him a scone, all right? If we send Jacksonville over there.
We're throwing him a scone. The man throwing scones is from behind enemy lines. Please welcome back our scones thrower, stats man Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
Hope he doesn't live in a glass house.
Or he'd be throwing scones.
The deadliest scone in the game.
Oh, man.
Yes,
awesome.
Things are good out here. Our division, my division neighbors up the street are 4-8, and we are 7-5, and boy, we roll our own destiny here for the playoffs. So we definitely do, and I know we want to talk about it. So let's get to it. Let's talk about it. For those who've listened before, thank you for joining us again. And if you're listening for the first time, don't worry, we will be gentle, but be careful. Frank Clark is waiting to pounce. Shows run just like a real NFL football game. We have 4 quarters and even a halftime. First quarter is any news you may have missed during the week with our news hound, Shadowhawk Will. Then following a 60-second rant by Matt because he won trivia last week. Surprise, surprise. Quarter 2 is a Viking recap and a new caption that picture. And then we go over our scores, the 2-minute warning. And at halftime, it is the best Seahawk-themed play-along game on the internet, none other than 12th Man Fan Jam Halftime Trivia, where Matt has won 8 of the last 10. Matt, what's your secret?
Magic hats. That's
Magic
my new
hats.
secret.
Yes, magic hats. And then following a special top 3 for me about the 3 weirdest facts about Edgar Allan Poe. Quarter 3 will bring us drinks, injury stats, and lines for the Ravens game, and then we put all that together in quarter 4 with our predictions, our prognostications, and our game balls. But before we start, we'd like to remind you to like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Contact us on this thread or the comment sections of that video. Email 12manfanjam@gmail.com. Join our Facebook group, 12th Man Fan Jam Show. Lots of fun on there. We also have a game thread during Seahawk games, and also on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. But before we go on, it's time to give a long overdue shout out.
Hey, can I do a shout out? Shout out.
Yes, I have a shout out this week before we start the first quarter, and it's a quick one. It's to 12th Man Fan Jam Facebook page member Chris Balding. Chris Balding is from England, and he wrote this on our board. He said, well, so it's 4 a.m. in the UK, game day morning, and your 6-month-old little girl decides it's a fantastic time for you to be awake. What else is there to do but sit and listen to the 12th Man Fan Jam Show?
Yes.
So,
Nice.
love that. The kids dig it. And it's nice to know, Chris, that you're raising your little girl right. So, let us press on and go to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL while you were out celebrating an earth-shattering Seahawks road victory. Here's our 12th Man Fan Jam News House Shadowhawk Will with the news. Brought to you by our sponsor, the Baltimore Ravens bird flu vaccine, guaranteed to keep you out of the hospital and out of the playoffs. Will, what you got for us?
Hey, Moses. My first item is about Panthers' Ron Rivera. Of course, Carolina is doing particularly well this year, 12-0, and with a chance to go undefeated in the regular season before losing to Seattle in the playoffs. But anyway,
There you go.
Rivera had plenty of critics over the past couple years. His toughest critic, however, is still keeping his feet to the fire. His mother. My mom's become more and more critical. She's always been my hardest critic, Rivera said. Now it's not just about winning. Now it's about doing things better. She knows the game. She's been around it her whole life. She usually has some pretty good insight about things. She'll go, in that red zone, you guys were playing a lot of zone. I'll say, how do you know that? She goes, when I see guys facing the ball, you guys have to match better. Rivera went on to say she waits for me to call. If we play really well, I'll call her right away, probably on Monday. If we don't play really well, I'll usually wait till Wednesday or Thursday. Usually I'll catch her as she's heading out to bingo, so she'll talk to me quickly.
Nice.
So Rivera, now we know why the Panthers are doing so well. Rivera's getting tips from a reliable source.
That's a pretty good story. I like that.
I can almost imagine he gets home and at the kitchen on the fridge there's like a board already set up with X's and O's on it. She's like, sit down. Look at this. And she just sits there and goes through.
We need to talk.
We need to talk. Sit down.
Those plastic letters with magnets,
Yeah.
Well,
The alphabet ones for toddlers.
Mother has always been a good coach.
There you go.
Sorry.
Oh,
I just
Coach's
wrote that
best
in.
friend is his mother.
Yeah. Yes, how very true. Well, that was a mother of a start to the news there. So Rivera apparently is a mama's boy. So what else do you have for us?
Well, Moses, one of the more interesting games on the slate for Sunday is the Bills facing off against the Eagles, reuniting former Eagle LaShawn McCoy with former Eagle coach, current Eagle coach, at least for now. Sorry, got ahead of myself again.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly. Of course, the two have parted on less than amicable terms, with McCoy being traded to Buffalo and then later saying that his belief was that the Eagles got rid of all the good black players since Chip Kelly become coach. Chip Kelly, however, doesn't hold a grudge. He did express some regret about the way the trade was handled, but told the Buffalo News that, quote, I'd love to shake LaShawn's hand before the game. I tried to call him after, and I talked to his agent after we traded him. I always wanted to talk to LaShawn. Again, I have no issues with LaShawn at all. The feeling, however, is not mutual. That same day, LaShawn McCoy also spoke with Buffalo News and said, listen, man, Chip can't shake shit. He knows this. That's why he said it. There are some people I do want to speak to, the ownership, a lot of different fans out there, and a lot of players. A lot of guys I still talk to now. Chip Kelly, however, is not on that list. So we won't see any warm reunions at midfield in this game.
Well, we won't, but Dustin, I with Ryan being his head coach now, and he always had a tendency to send out former players of teams as team captains for the coin toss. And I don't think that he has any ill will against the players on that team that were on the Eagles when he was there. But don't be surprised if you see a certain team captain for the Bills, right?
Oh, not at all. That's kind of what Rex does. So
Yeah.
That would be my prognostication for the game, actually. If I was going to call that.
Yeah, there you go.
Mark, this whole DeMarco Murray thing in Philadelphia has been really kind of a failure, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Philly overall has been a failure. I mean, their victory notwithstanding, last week in New England. Yeah, I mean, it's a mess. I don't know. I caught part of Kelly's press conference on that whole thing, and it's like, I don't know. I don't like the guy. I don't think his style just works very well. I don't think he's going to last, which is too bad. It'd be better if he just stuck around and they. Yeah, I mean, DeMarco Murray. With Murray, yeah, it's one of those things where on Dallas actually is a good offensive line, or did a year ago anyway for running, and then you just can't plug and play certain players or number of players in a brand new system and expect to repeat the results. So I don't know. I guess it's surprising a little bit, but just everything about that team is just off.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd like to see him stick around the NFL though. Just get fired from Philly, and if Jeff Fisher gets fired, I'd like for him to replace Jeff Fisher.
That would be wonderful. Please,
it would. Yeah,
please go.
absolutely.
Well, they fired their offensive coordinator, so even if he gets fired and he gets a demotion as an offensive coordinator, please go to St. Louis. That would be fantastic.
It'd be great.
I would love that.
Now go to Arizona. They need to be taken down a peg or two.
That's even better.
Yeah.
No, see, I'm sorry, but Coach Ayers is way too smart for that, I think. But
I dream, Candy.
I mean, this guy takes like squares and he tries to pound them into round holes, and it doesn't work.
You got to shave off the corners first.
Oh, God. All right. Well, we'll shave off the corners later, Will. What else you got for us?
Well, Moses, as you well know, there are 3 teams trying to move to Los Angeles, and given the stadium situations, I'd have to say that the Raiders have the worst, and
yes,
therefore the biggest reason to need to leave town. The problems with the Oco Coliseum in Oakland have been myriad. Sewage has backed up into the locker rooms before baseball games.
Both of them, or just the home one?
Well, doesn't matter really. I mean,
Hey, public too. I can speak for.
Well, there you go. But there's that. The press box has old tube-style 12-inch televisions, even though it's not 1966 anymore.
They got a big antenna sticking out of the tops.
And
Tinfoiled.
Chiefs radio reporter Kendall Gammon noticed a new problem with the stadium when the Chiefs were playing the Raiders last weekend. He noticed that there was the ceiling was leaking in several places. And in the worst example of product placement I have seen in quite some time, they taped Pepsi cups to the ceiling to catch the leaks rather than fix them.
Holy crap. Wow.
Mr. Gammon tweeted pictures of the Pepsi cups stopping up the leaks, and it's just another example of a stadium that's really falling apart.
Wow.
But you know what? Still a better stadium than Levi.
True.
Nice.
A little more up to date, but yeah.
Nice.
Because they can't even get Pepsi to put any cups in to catch the
I
water
know.
in Levi Stadium.
Their leagues can't get a sponsor.
No, they have RC cups on theirs.
RC. Me and my RC and Tom Sula.
Oh my God! Hey, so Zorni, you've been there. Mark, you have been to Oakland Alameda, I believe. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they change their names so often, but I think it is.
So did you see any cups? What's your experience there?
No, I mean it's just. I mean it's a Raiders game. I've described it before as the NFL meets Beyond Thunderdome. And it's just like, I don't know. I got to admit, I've always had a good time there. The people watching's off the hook. The plumbing is also off the hook because everywhere. It's been nasty
Literally.
there forever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My own. I just wear rain boots. When I go there, and
Yikes!
wade through the
Oh.
stuff and flush with my feet. One of those things where it looks like I'm practicing Tai Chi.
God!
Lift the lid, push. Actually, I don't even bother with the lid. You just but you get the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They just have like a big trough for guys at the urinal.
They do there,
like a big tub. And I could never.
I do
have such a
remember
shy
the
bladder.
troughs at Husky Stadium before
Oh,
they
Lord.
remodeled it.
No, I couldn't. No, I have such a shy bladder. There's no way.
Okay.
But enough of
Because you
that.
weren't drunk enough, Fred.
What have
Yeah.
we learned today? We've learned
Well-
that Moses has a shy bladder.
My luck, I would get up there and there'd be like this little boy with his dad who's pissed off because he's missing the game. And then the little boy, he'd be yelling at the little boy like, hurry up and go! And then I can't go because, the poor guy's yelling and, I was just like, I can't, poor kid, I can't go either. And I just walk away,
Wow.
Yeah, that's my trough story. All right.
It's a new low for the.
It's a
12-man
new low.
fan jam.
There you go, folks. If you just
Everybody's
joined-
got a trop story.
If this is your first show, be patient. We are going to talk about the Vikings game coming up, so don't worry. But I guess on that wonderful note, we'll end the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Well, we
Ended
pissed
on a
that
high
one
note.
away.
Will, thanks for the news, my man.
Anytime.
Yeah, I'm glad I could ruin that for us. Lots of shows still ahead. We play trivia.
Thing is, Moses, have you ever gone to the? Have you ever thought of going to the toilet with a magic hat on? Because that just makes things happen.
There you go.
My magic urinating hat. I'll have to look that up. Oh, dear Lord. We do play trivia.
Try going dressed as a nun and see what happens. Because it worked for me last week.
Oh wow.
Do not yell at your child. Lots of shows still ahead, I think. We play trivia. We preview the Ravens game. Matt's 60-second rant is next. And then the second quarter, we look back at last week's convincing Seahawk victory over the Vikings coming up next.
And now it's time for a 12th Man Fan Jam 60-second rant.
You know you make me wanna
Rant.
I don't want to get off on a rant here.
Yes, hello everyone. If you remember last week, once again I won the trivia, big shock there. But that does mean that I get 60 seconds to rant about something that I've either noticed or seen around the league or through the forum boards or Facebook or wherever. And one of the things that I've seen this year is a little bit of discussion around whether or not the NFC East, the winner of the NFC East, should be able to go through to the playoffs, considering they've got a losing record of 5-7. And it's everyone's on 5-7, I think, apart from the Dallas Cowboys, who are crap. But ultimately, one thing I would remind everybody out there is that there was another team back in 2010 that was also having some problems, let's say, in the old NFC West, and that was us. And we went through on a losing record too. So just remember that sometimes it's the rules. We all play by the rules. There's no point trying to change them just because you don't agree with them, unless you really don't agree with them, in which case, or we have like a penalty or something happens, and then they'll change it because of that. But anyway, don't get upset about it. Just let it go. Remember it. We were there once as well, and let's look forward to playing them in the playoffs at some point, because I'm quite looking forward to playing a losing record team.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Y'all thought this was a matchup. Mismatch.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Welcome to the second quarter as we take a look back at the Vikings game from last week. We'd like to remind you to join our 12th Man Fan Jam show group on Facebook, email at 12manfanjam@gmail.com, and Seahawk Positivity at Twitter. The second quarter brought to you by our sponsor, Skeeter's Grill. Try the Match Shop special, pick 6 toppings for your burger, and pay dearly for it. Okay. Let's start talking about last week's game, and we're going to start with Matt. There's a lot to talk about here. 38-7 victory, the Seahawks over the Vikings. An incredible game on the road against a playoff team in their house. They were expecting big things. I think we found out exactly where the Vikings might be. And I think their fans found out that they may not be ready for prime time. But that being said, Matt, the passing game for the Seahawks was just on fire, wasn't it?
Just to carry on from the week before, Russell Wilson has found somehow, somewhere, a little piece of form that I think a lot of people were wondering whether he had. There was some, and again, I think a lot of this is to tie in with the strengthening position of the offensive line that has got considerably better over the course of this year, giving him a little bit of time. And that period of time when they were desperately trying, where the defense would desperately try and keep Russell Wilson in the pocket because they considered him to be weaker in the pocket than if he was scrambling about and doing all his agile running past them. Now all of a sudden, keeping him in the pocket doesn't seem like such a great idea. Because he's just, what is it, 274 yards in this game, 27 attempts, 21 completions, 3 touchdowns. One of his own as well. The man was doing everything. He was just on fire. He was in that zone again of wanting to win. And I think, there's no reason to suggest that he's suddenly going to peak off. I don't know what changed, when it changed, or how it changed. There was some thoughts about whether or not it was because there was less Marshawn on the field, which was actually forcing him to think and do stuff differently. I don't buy that, because he's got Rules standing next to him who was able to, do pretty much what Marshawn was doing anyway. But he certainly seems to have found some form, and what a great time to find that form.
I kind of buy into that a little bit, and here's why. I think that with Jimmy Graham out and with Marshawn out, they have freedom to do whatever the hell they want. Because if you remember, Percy Harvin was probably the most obvious display of this. Bevel, if he has a shiny toy, will find ways to force the ball to that guy. And I feel like he probably did that with Marshawn, and he probably did that with Jimmy Graham. But right now, there's not a superstar out there besides Russell Wilson, which gives the offensive coordinator freedom to do whatever he wants, and Russell Wilson the freedom to do whatever he wants without working a pitch count for anybody. And I think that's been a big part of why they're able, or the offense is working the way it is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can see that. I want to throw a couple Russell Wilson numbers out there that I found during the week that I found were spectacular. Quarterback rating of 146 for this last game. Quarterback rating of 138.5 or higher for 3 straight games. It's only happened 3 other times in the history of football. Aaron Rodgers in 2011, they went 15-1. Kurt Warner in 1999, that's when he was with the Rams and the Greatest Show on Turf, if you remember that. And Roger Staubach, 1971. Notice who's not on that list. Brady, Manning, Favre, not on that list. Those 3 are it. Those 3 and Wilson. That's it. And no Tebow. But
what?
No Tebow.
Oh man.
And then the other one is this. Russell Wilson has apparently had 30 passes defensed this season. That means knocked down or defended. That's the fewest in the NFL by far. To compare, the Indianapolis Colts have 80 and Russell only has 30. Wow. That gives you an idea of how amazing he's been. He is truly, in my opinion, starting to raise some eyebrows. And if he continues the next couple games like he's done, and look who we're playing, could very well start getting some MVP looks, in my opinion.
Moses, one more Russell Wilson stat.
Yes.
In the last 3 games, he's thrown 11 touchdowns and 20 incompletions.
Okay, no
He's only thrown 9 fewer touchdown passes than incompletions the last 3 games.
Wow.
That's a Madden game. That's not even like, that's a kid playing Madden. That's not even like football.
It's not just kids that play Madden, Dennis.
Sorry, Dustin.
But the
okay,
thing
people
is,
the size of kids.
Whatever.
But the trouble is that even now, if you listen to the commentators, even when they're speaking about him, they still don't consider him to be anywhere near the same league as some of these others. And I think, if it was just consistency, perhaps that's the answer. Perhaps he just needs to be consistent. Because at the beginning of the season, we weren't seeing these figures; we were seeing a different story. Although I still put that down to the offensive line having more holes than a sieve. But when you listen to the commentators, it's as if he's still rubbish. And nobody wants to talk to him in that way. But look at the numbers, people. Look at the numbers.
Exactly. Well, and part of that too, as we get to Will, part of that is a running game that's effective. And Will, this running game, 19 rushes, 100 yards from Thomas Rawls. I mean, they really haven't missed a beat without beast mode, have they?
No, they haven't. And one thing I was happy to see with Rawls' game is the way he bounced back after the fumble on that first possession. Especially Kristen Michael on the rare occasions that he actually got the ball.
And
the fumble was inevitable, and then after that, it was just like, well, okay, he's done because he screwed up once and he couldn't shake it. But Rawls, his teammates said, "Look, we got you. Don't worry about it." And he didn't. He came back in and kept running hard and kept breaking big runs. And he has just been a godsend this year because if we had lost Marshawn Lynch for a month and only had Robert Turbin and Kristen Michael, we would not be controlling our own destiny for a playoff berth right now.
Yep.
And in addition to Rawls, though, it's fun to see Russell Wilson running more too. And it was a shame to see that touchdown run called back, even though he got the pass on the very next play, which is my favorite part of the game. But but with Wilson and with Rawls, it's just going to be fun to watch this team grind it out like we used to.
Totally agree. That very first offensive play, real quick, the very first offensive play for Seattle after that fumble was a handoff to Rawls, which I thought was brilliant. You know what? We're going to give you the ball again.
And he got 5 yards.
Yeah, he got 5 yards, and it was over, and he got, it's kind of like I had a friend that got in an accident one time, and his mom made him drive home he was fine, but he had broken the car in half or whatever. But he was fine, and his mom made him drive home, and he said, I can't drive home. She said, no, if you don't get in the car right now, you're never going to drive again. And it's kind of like that. He fumbled, give him the ball right back, and that's exactly what they did.
I kind of like the fact that it didn't phase him at all, to be honest with you, because if you notice on the play, if you go back and watch it, as soon as he fumbled, he went into the mode where he tried to tell the refs, no, I hit the ground first. He jumped up, he's pointing at the ground, no, I hit the ground. And then they show him on the sidelines. They show him on the sidelines, and he looks mad, like, I can't believe I did that crap. And he looked focused, like, okay, I need to go back out there and earn my spot back type thing,
Exactly.
And he did.
Yeah, he did. Mark, when it happened, I turned to Lil Mo and watched the game with Lil Mo, and I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with. I mean, I don't want him to fumble, but we were driving on that drive. I was not worried at all after he fumbled. I said, "Oh, that's a fumble, definitely." But I thought that's okay. It's going to happen. We'll be fine. I didn't worry about it. Did you worry about it at all?
Well, I mean, it occurred early. So early in the game that it's kind of like, even if points came off that turnover for Minnesota. I mean, it's just there's so much time left. There's plenty of time to recover. It wasn't like the Bridgewater fumble,
right?
That we just witnessed. Like, oops. And even then, even if it were disastrous, I mean, he's a tough. He's a tough kid, and boy, I mean, he is. I just watching that guy run. I mean, he's just passing the eyeball test.
Yes.
I mean, he's younger, but so it makes sense. He looks quicker than Beast, and when he's 100%, and hopefully he will be enough. But with Rawls, it's like, wow, it just looks like overdrive. I mean, it just doesn't take him long to get into gear, and his vision.
It's explosive.
He looks awesome. And
he's got a faster first step, which is helping him get through quite a bit.
Yes.
And I had that same reaction you did, Dennis. I saw that happen. I was actually cooking a steak barbecue and watching. Decided to have steak and eggs that day. And I saw it happen, and I told my wife, I was like, as much as they're moving the ball, it's like, I'm not even worried. I'm like, this is kind of interesting, though, because everything this guy's done since he got on the football field, people have been telling him he's gold and how awesome he is. Now we get to see him react to some adversity. Let's see how that plays out. So that was kind of a good time to do that.
Good point. Well, Dustin, what did you think of our defense, especially shutting down Peterson, who had the third lowest rushing totals in his career and the lowest in 2 years, 18 yards. And, of course, going to game, that was going to be the deal. Can we hold him under 100? What did you think of the run defense for Seattle, Dustin?
It's all right. I don't think it could have got much better. I mean, AP was held to 18 yards. And then McKinnon was also held to 18 yards.
Yes.
They had a third dude that ran the ball. He's minus 6 yards.
Right.
So the whole thing was pretty impressive. AP only had 8 total attempts. McKinnon only had 4. Longest one they gave up was 12 yards. Everything about that is just phenomenal. And to be honest with you, as good as the defense was stopping the run, I got to tell you, you have to give an assist to the offense because they put up so many points that Minnesota's offense was forced into throwing the ball. They couldn't run the ball because of how the offense was playing. So, thanks offense. Good on you. And the defense on the run game was just, they were dominant. There's nothing else to say about that. They were dominant.
Yep, we did what we had to do to win the game. We shut down the run and made Bridgewater try to beat us. So, and again, like Dustin said, with our offense running up points, and how nice is it to say that our offense is running up points?
Yes.
It's just all they could do was throw.
Very true.
I like that they had their foot on their throat. The whole
Me
game.
too.
They did not let up at all. Even at the end of the first half, he was trying to get that one extra second. Let's just lob it to the end zone and see what happens.
I hate to say, I've said it in the last couple games. I have been very happy with the offensive play calling. I'm just going to say it because we've talked about that, and I'm not complaining about the last couple weeks. Especially like you said, 28-0, we threw a touchdown pass. I love that. Just the fact that we were even looking for something like that, up 28-0, is great. Mm-hmm. But that pass defense, Mark, we made Bridgewater beat us, and 17 out of 28 for 118, a quarterback rating of 55.4 for Bridgewater. You can't deny that. The much ballyhooed Legion of Boom seems to be back. Do you think that Deshaun Shedd has been that big difference, Mark, in that backfield?
Well, we know right away, or first off, that anything is better than Kerry Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, but he doesn't,
by subtraction.
But his stint in Seattle, he's like a game show contestant. He doesn't walk away empty-handed because he gets to take home the Kelly Jennings Award for defensive back ineptitude. Although he didn't last that long, but the change at corner, and then on the offensive side, finally, plugging in a new center, and on that note, how long has this center? How long has he been available? It took an awfully long time to bench Williams. It took an awfully long time to replace the center, and then the other thing I'm reading this thing is we decided to we wanted to get the ball out of Wilson's hand quicker and run shorter routes. It's well, no duh. I mean, I'm happy they made all these adjustments, but it just seems like they could have happened in week 3.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They've had Patrick Lewis for a while. I think he was on the team last year even. And,
I think wasn't he hurt beginning of the year though?
He started a lot last year.
Yeah.
I think he was injured.
They wanted to let Nowak play. They thought they could develop him, and they thought he had more upside, so they wanted to throw him in there and see what happened.
Right.
But he's not on the team anymore either. They gave up on that. They cut him.
Yeah. Well, he's on the practice squad. I don't think we've seen the last of him, but Lewis is playing better than he did last year, and he's
absolutely
playing better
and they were really high on him last year.
Because with Patrick Lewis, we can't lose.
No. Oh, jeez. Parker Lewis reference.
Parker.
Oh my God.
Okay. See, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Something we haven't mentioned that I'm very excited about, because I mentioned the preseason show, and then we'll move on to the picture, captioning the picture. But how about Frank the Tank showing what he did in preseason, and just amazing game, inside, outside. You put him anywhere, and he was just rolling over people. Amazing, Frank the Tank. Way to go.
I like that he's doing so well rushing from the inside. With Jordan Hill hurt, and Hill. I hate to say it, but Hill hasn't done all that much this year anyway.
He really hasn't.
So we need the interior pass rush. So the fact that Clark can do that, that's a game changer right there.
Yeah. Not only can he do that, but it looked like in the regular season, given it was just one game, granted, but it looks like he's better at doing that than he was a defensive end. He had more plays in that game than he probably had the rest of the season.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
Jordan Hill goes down, they throw him in there, a big, strong guy that can rush like a defensive end, and you put him against the center and other interior linemen. They had issues with it, and I think they're going to continue to see issues with it, especially they're going to have issues this week even, because Jordan Hill's going to be out again.
Right.
I'm sorry, just real quick. Did you guys notice, too, with Rawls, he had another run and he had another good play, and the announcers are talking about how he went undrafted, and then I love it when they do this, when they just just call a guy out. It's like, he went undrafted, there was some trouble in college, and he stole a woman's purse, and he was very regretful about it, and he made amends, and so Pete Carroll decided to say, I just love how they have to bring this stuff up, these backstories. It's like,
how do they know he didn't have a trainer like Mickey? Mickey and Rocky has you chase chickens.
There you go.
Maybe.
There you go.
Rawls trainer had him stealing purses and avoiding cops. Maybe that's how you learn to duck and weave and stuff.
Well, I know one thing between Rawls and Lockett, who had 7 catches, I think,
on 7 targets.
And then you have Frank Clark on the other side. And Deshaun Shedd. He's holding his own over there. there's a lot of good young talent on this team coming up. This could be a very, very interesting draft class. We look back on it like we look back at the one with Wilson and Wagner and Irvin. But it's a very interesting group of young men that have really risen to the top here as rookies. So a lot to look forward to as we move on. And as we move on, I think it is time now to do a little thing we like to call Caption That Picture. Yes, Caption That Picture. We like to take a picture from the game, or the post-game in this case, from the week before. We like to add a little caption to it. And our Caption That Picture is one of my favorites. And this week we have a very clever picture of our head coach, Pete Carroll, and it's very almost devious, evil look, as if saying, ha ha ha, look at what we did in Minnesota. So, gentlemen, Mark, do you have a picture caption for this?
I do.
Please, caption that picture.
All right, and the caption is, here's Petey.
He's gonna be like, Bridgewater, give me the bat. Give me the bat, Bridgewater. All right, Dustin, caption that picture.
You're a mean one, Mr. Carroll.
There you go.
Nice.
Themed. I like it.
Yeah. Will, caption that picture.
Damn, I'm good.
Yeah.
Wow. That could go a lot of ways. All right, Matt, caption that picture.
Tom Sula taught me that.
Wow.
All right. Well, mine come with sound effects. So, the first one, wouldn't you be surprised? The first one is this. Ah, yes. Now it's all coming into place. That's the first one. And then the second one. Thank you. And the second one is just this. It's just an audio. This is caption the picture of Pete Carroll. Ready?
Guess who's back again.
That's pretty much it right there.
Wow,
says it
back.
I created a monster because nobody wants to.
I think Pete can name that tune in 2 notes.
Probably can. Song of the day for Pete. All right. Let's go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
It's time for our 2-minute warning. Look back at our predictions. Once again, we're keeping score on our predictions this season. Game ball winner, 3 points. Prognostication, 3 points. If nobody gets there, as close as gets a point. Predictions, both scores on the button 5. One score, 3. And if no one gets it, the closest gets a point. Okay. Scores. Mosette was our guest last week, and she got 21-7. It was 38-7. It's pretty good. Dustin also got the 7 right, and Dustin 31-7. Outstanding, sir. Nice. Well done. Mm-hmm. Well done on the score.
Thank you. Nice.
Dustin kind of really did a great job. We go to prognostications. Everybody got a prognostication. Mosette, 2 sacks. Yeah, we got that. Matt, Rawls over Peterson. Yeah, we got that. Dustin, T-Jack in the game. You got that. I got 150 rushing yards. The only person that didn't was Mark with 2 touchdowns with Lockett, but that's all right.
I meant it figures I would miss out on the party of that. No, but
hey,
Lockett
right.
still had a still a great game.
Still had a great
He had
game.
a good game, yeah.
And game balls, it was hard to pick between Rawls and Wilson, but I think, what can you say about Wilson? My goodness, 21-27. You know, Rawls had a great game, but I think Wilson just was just the star of the game. I don't think there's any question. So that means
Wilson
Dustin
dropped the mic on this one.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Dustin, 10 points.
Wow.
Guest, 6 points. Matt and me, 3 points. Overall scores, Dustin making a move. Second place, Will 37, Dustin 32, me 27, Mark 22, Guest 18, Matt less than 18. Okay.
I am officially in the NFC East over here, right? Okay, this is right.
Oh man,
and
that's
as
okay.
we ponder that, we'll get ready for halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Yes, it's time to get ready for the best Seahawk-themed trivia show on the internet you can play along with yourselves. It's another can't-miss edition of...
Oh.
What's wrong?
Nothing, just hanging out over here.
Just playing with myself.
Play along, yeah.
Oh, Lord. 12th Man Fan Jam halftime trivia coming up next.
Hey, this is Matt, all the way from merry old England, and you're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12th Man Fan Jam Halftime Trivia with your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to the 12th Man Fan Jam Halftime Trivia Show. The game where you, the listener and viewer, can play along with the posse while I subject them to trivia questions based on the Seahawk opponents. This week, our contestants are the posse themselves, Matt, Will, Mark, and Dustin, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There will be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there will be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tied players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12th Man Fan Jam Trivia Champion and gets to have a special 60-second rant between the first and second quarter of the very next episode of the 12th Man Fan Jam Show. As an added bonus to those listeners on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen, so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well if you wish. If you'd like to play along, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline for each of the contestants. Before the taping of this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take this quiz. And if the contestants want to know what the kids said, they may ask that only once during the entire game show and only during the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12th Man Fan Jam Trivia. All right, the rules have been laid out, so let's get ready to play. But before we do, I want to tell you a little bit about tonight's trivia. We have 2 rounds of 4 questions, and those questions are mostly about the Seahawks and the Ravens. However, each round there's a hidden question that is not about football, and this week it'll be about Poe, A-Ground Poe, whose poem The Raven is why the Baltimore Ravens are who they are. So I hope you don't get the Poe question.
Are who you thought they were.
Oh, yeah. Dear.
So, we will start with our champion, which, as always, is Matt. Matt, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4, please.
Matt's going to take 4, and then we will go with Mark. 1, 2, 3.
Oh God. Let's see. So number 2 could likely be Poe. I will do number 3.
Okay, and then we're gonna go Dustin. 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. I will go 2.
And that leaves Will with question 1. All right.
Ask me your question, Trivia Keeper. I'm not afraid.
What is your name? All right. Question 1, Will. Question 1 is a football question. Here you go.
Oh, man.
Everyone goes, aw. The first time the Seahawks played the Ravens was in 1997. How many interceptions did the Seahawks throw that day? Did they throw 3, 4, or 5 interceptions? And, well, you get some Morgan, buddy. First time the Seahawks played the Ravens, 1997. How many interceptions did the Seahawks throw? 3, 4, or 5?
I'm going to err on the side of caution and go 3.
He's going to err on the side of caution and go 3. Well, Little Mo said 4. Mosette said 4. You said 3. Hey, you should have said 4. 4.
I guess so.
Who was the quarterback?
Well, we had Freeze that started the
That's
game
what I
with
thought.
3. Yeah, Freeze
okay.
with 3, and then Moon came in and threw 1 because I guess he felt jealous. So 4 combined.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I thought that was when Moon was starting for us, I guess.
I
Wait,
think
that was the first game of the year, wasn't it, when we played Baltimore?
I thought he started like
believe so.
98, 99, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right, because we lost, 41-3, some nonsense like that?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it was
No,
pretty
that
bad.
would do it.
Wow. Mr.
Yeah.
Freeze.
We only played him 4 times, so. We only played him 4 times. And now, Dustin, are you ready?
Yeah.
Get confident. You know, Mark said that the second one, your number 2, was a Poe question, right? Remember he said that?
Yeah, he did.
He's right. It is. Here's your ground Poe question, Dustin.
Number 2, it's a dump.
And I wish this was Matt, because it's what college did Edgar Allan Poe attend? What college did Edgar Allan Poe attend? Did he attend Johns Hopkins, Maryland, University of Maryland, or University of Virginia? Edgar Allan Poe attended college. Which one? Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland or University of Virginia?
All those are in America, right?
Yep, American.
Yeah.
Oh hell.
Hell's not an option.
That may
Tuition
have been
is
where he
really
ended up,
high
but,
in hell.
you know.
I'll go Virginia. I have no idea, dude.
He's going to go Virginia because Virginia is for lovers. Little Mo said Johns Hopkins.
That's a
Mosette
medical
said-
school, isn't it?
Yeah. Mosette said University of Virginia. You're right.
Nice.
University of Virginia. Well
done.
played. Yeah.
Good guess.
With the
I
good old,
totally knew that.
good old UVA. All right. Which means the two of you at the end have, Mark and Matt, you have obviously football questions. So, Mark, your football question is this. Night 2003, how many touchdown passes did Matt Hasselbeck throw when the Seahawks played the Ravens in 2003? Was it 3, 4, or 5? November 23rd, 2003, how many touchdown passes did Matt Hasselbeck throw against the Ravens in Baltimore? 3, 4, or 5?
Oh, wow. Boy, I remember actually watching the game, but not all the details. I was in a Vegas sports bar watching that game.
Crazy game.
Memory is a little shaky.
It was a crazy game. I
It
remember
was a
that
crazy game,
sadly.
but you know what? I'm gonna say, I want to. That game was so nutty. I'm gonna go 4.
It was nutty. It was cookie. Little Mo said 3. Mosette said 4. You said 4. Just said 5. 5 touchdown passes for Matt Hasselbeck in that game.
Wow.
Oh, did you just shoot yourself? What was that? And Mark's passed out.
Yeah, I was drinking quite a bit in those days, so oh well.
He woke
I
up
blacked
married
out
the
for
next
the
day,
fifth one.
so.
Yeah.
I blacked out for the 5th one.
All right. Well, that's okay. You can read about it later. Matt, football question for you. Same game. 2003. Who had 2 sacks when the Seahawks played the Ravens in Baltimore on November 23rd, 2003? And I don't mind telling you that Little Mo snickered when I said who had 2 sacks. Okay. Who had 2 sacks?
I'm surprised you didn't.
And he's
That's
10,
awesome.
everybody. Okay. Who had 2 sacks? Rocky Bernard, Cheeky O'Keefer, or John Randall?
That's awesome.
Rocky Bernard, Cheeky O'Keefer, or John Randall, who had 2 sacks when the Seahawks played the Ravens in Baltimore in 2003?
I think it was Randall, if memory serves.
I think it was Randall, he says. He thinks it was Randall. Lil Mo thought it was Cheeky O'Keefer. Mosette thought it was Randall. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Randall. Wow. All right. So as we go to round 2, Matt and Dustin are on the board. Will and Mark, not so much. All right. So questions 5 through 8, same rules, gentlemen. We'll start with Matt. 5, 6, 7, or 8.
Crap, which one was the Poe? Was the 2, wasn't it? So he's probably going to have mirrored it. So I'll go 7.
Okay.
You have to get
I love your logic.
Trying to avoid, yeah, exactly. You're trying to put logic to Moses. Okay, this is
Dustin, 5, 6, or 8, Dustin.
8.
All right. Will, 5 or 6?
5.
All right. That means 6 for Mark. All right, Will. Your question, Will, is a football question.
I was an English major in college. I was kind of hoping to get at least one Poe question.
That's too bad. We'll see if you can answer the Poe question after whoever gets it. Number 5 is this. When the Seahawks played the Ravens in Seattle in 2007, who led the Seahawks in receiving yards? Was it Nate Burleson, Bobby Ingram, or Darrell Jackson? Who led the Seahawks in receiving yards in 2007 over the Ravens? Burleson, Ingram, or Jackson?
Well, I'm pretty sure Jackson wasn't here in 2007, so I'm guessing not him. I'm going to go with Bobby Ingram.
We'll go Bobby Ingram. Clutch Bobby Ingram, remember? Oh, man. That guy was awesome. Little Mo and Mosette both said Nate Burleson, but you said Bobby Ingram. Yeah, you got it. Bobby Ingram. Well done. So Will is on the board. Mark.
Yes.
You have no score, and you have a football question.
Oh,
Right.
Same game. Seahawks played the Ravens in Seattle in 2007. Who recovered a fumble for a 20-yard defensive touchdown? Was it Leroy Hill, Julian Peterson, or Lofa Tatupu? Who recovered a fumble for a 20-yard defensive touchdown against the Ravens in 2007? Leroy Hill, Julian Peterson, or Lofa Tatupu?
Oh boy. I'll say Tatupu.
He'll say Tatupu. Little Mo said Tatupu. Mosette said Peterson. No, Leroy Hill.
Ooh, I got that wrong.
Not Leroy Hill. Remember, it wasn't Leroy Hill. It was Leroy Hill, right?
Yeah.
Because
different guys. Different guys.
My new song for halftime trivia should be "Saved by Zero" because that's my score. Week in
Get your
and
fix.
week out.
Yeah.
Or Beck, I'm a loser. That'd be good.
Oh yeah. See, I thought that would be good.
With Parador.
Oh my God.
With Parador, total.
So why don't you?
See.
Yeah.
Matt.
Oh yeah.
Matt, your question.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Hey Matt.
Yeah.
Your question.
Yeah.
It's a football question.
Oh, come on.
Ah, nuts.
Oh, Matt. In 2011, the Seahawks played the Ravens in Seattle. Who had the most receiving yards for the Seahawks? Was it Baldwin, Lynch, or Tate? Doug Baldwin, Marshawn Lynch, or Golden Tate? Who led the team in receiving yards 2011 against the Baltimore Ravens?
No, I want to say I want to say Tate, but let me see what the kid said.
Oh, see, every time he picks the kids, it works. Mosette said Doug Baldwin. Little Mo said Golden Tate.
I'm going to go with Little Mo. I'll say Golden Tate.
He's going to go with Little Mo. It always works for him.
He's probably right.
It always works for him. Not this time.
Oh, wow.
Marshawn Lynch,
Shocking.
58 yards.
Little Mo.
It seems
Marshawn
like
Lynch.
he's
It always
playing
works for
quarterback,
him.
so it makes sense to be dumping off to the running back all game.
Yeah. All right. We are down. Everyone scored except for Mark. Dustin can take the lead here. Going in the final question. But he has a Poe question. Are you ready, Dustin?
You got both of them.
Is the answer the following? Because that's the show that has Steve
No.
about Edgar Allan Poe? Damn it. Okay.
All right. Here, as a student at West Point, who did Poe tell his fellow cadets his grandfather was? Did he tell him his grandfather was Benedict Arnold? Did they tell him his grandfather was Thomas Jefferson? Or did he tell him his grandfather was George Washington? Who did Poe tell the fellow cadets at West Point, hey, my grandfather was Benedict Arnold, Thomas Jefferson, or George Washington? Wasn't true, by the way, but this is what he told him.
Awesome.
What?
Yeah. Dig that, Dustin. Mic drop. Good night, everybody.
Well, what are the things again? What are the names again?
What did Poe tell his fellow cadets his grandfather was? Benedict Arnold, Thomas Jefferson, or George Washington? And it wasn't true. He was weird.
Yeah.
I'll go with the spy. I'll go Benedict Arnold.
Go with the spy. That's funny because Mosette went with Benedict Arnold.
I want to
And
say George Washington since it was a military establishment, but
Lil Mo went with George Washington, but you already went with Benedict Arnold.
I know. That's my
And you
final
got
answer.
it. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
So, my goodness. All right, Dustin, 2 for 2. You have the lead. Matt and Will with 1, and Mark is in last. So our order will go Dustin, Matt, Will, and Mark. No, it will go, I'm sorry, reverse order. It will go Mark, Will, Matt, and Dustin. I keep forgetting that scores, All right. It is, of course, a final question. It is a number, and the closes without going over gets 2 points and will be trivia champion. Unless it's Mark, then we'll have a special overtime question between you and Dustin. If everybody's over, the closest one to the number will be our winner of 2 points. So here's your question. We'll start with Mark. Mark, it has to do with the 4 games that the Seahawks have played the Ravens. The Seahawks have played the Ravens 4 times. What's the total amount of points the Seahawks have scored against the Ravens all time? Total points, 4 games.
Total points, 4 games. Huh?
Mark, what you got?
Okay, just give me one moment here.
No, don't be Googling anything.
No, I'm not Googling anything, but hold on.
Get the abacus out.
Carry the 1.
Get the slide rule.
I'm going to say 71.
Mark's going to say 71. All right, Will, what you got? Total number of points for the Seahawks against the Ravens all time.
I'm going to go 85.
Will's going to go 85. Matt, total number of points, Seahawks against the Ravens.
100.
100. Dustin, total number of points, Seahawks against the Ravens in 4 games.
In 4 games.
Yes.
I will go 85.
85's already been picked.
I picked 85.
Dang it.
You got all those numbers, and you just happen to hit one that somebody's already hit.
I will, Price is Right it then, go 86.
Here we go, 86. All right. All right, folks. Here we go. We have a winner. The total number of points that the Seahawks have scored against the Ravens in 4 games is 114. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Oh my god!
9 out of 11 times.
Can I just say?
That British
And-
bastard.
And 58 overall.
Just cut the music for a second. Moses. Cut a second. Can I just say to everyone, I know that people are going to think this is some sort of cheat or not. It is not a cheat, all right? We know nothing of these questions.
He has not defended any balls.
I know that's the case. I'm just stupid at trivia. That's clearly the case.
What were the scores of the game?
One was 44-41. I don't have all the totals.
Well, that was the 2003. Yeah, I didn't think the others were that high. Oh,
well, but you have 44 added on there. It's you all you have to do is get 70 out of the next 3, score 20 points. You can do it.
Sadly, we only had 41, not 44.
Yeah,
but
that's true. Yeah, that guy. I tell you, doesn't it figure? Here we go again. The Brit 9 out of 11. What an amazing action-filled, award-winning version of halftime trivia. Coming up, we talk about the upcoming game.
For a rant.
We make our predictions for the Seahawk Ravens game. Oh, dear Lord. But first, it's a very special Edgar Allan Poe themed top 3 coming up right after this.
Three is a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number.
Greetings, everyone. It's Moses here, and since we're playing the Ravens this week, and they're named after a famous poem,
There once was a man from Nantucket.
I thought it'd be nice to have another top 3.
Excellent.
This week, based from our home office in the Rue Morgue, comes the top 3 weirdest facts about Edgar Allan Poe.
Sheesh, what a total creep.
Fact number 3, Edgar Allan Poe often wrote with a cat perched on his shoulder. Apparently, the creepy Poe felt he wrote better with a cat on his shoulder.
Say hello to my little friend.
Well, at least it wasn't an elephant, I guess. Poe reportedly loved all animals, which is in contrast to his image of an angry, bitter, psychotic man.
Shut up, fat ass.
Weird fact number 2, Poe married his 13-year-old first cousin. Yes, that's right. Poe was Jerry Lee Lewis before it was cool.
Ow!
He fell madly in love with his 13-year-old first cousin, Virginia Clem. He married her when she was 13 and he was 27. Even back then, the age of Poe's bride was so scandalous that they cheated on the marriage license and said she was 21.
Liar!
And the number 1 weirdest fact about Edgar Allan Poe, Poe wanted the bird in his poem The Raven to originally be a parrot. Poe felt the parrot saying nevermore wouldn't have the same dark and foreboding feeling as a raven does.
That's stupid.
Can you imagine the NFL having a franchise called the Baltimore Parrots?
You look fabulous.
So that's the top 3 weirdest facts about Edgar Allan Poe. This is Moses until next time, reminding you that all good things come in 3s.
Holy shit, it's the 3rd quarter.
Welcome to the second half of episode 321 of your 12th Man Fan Jam show, where we take a closer look at the Seahawk opponents. But before we move on, we do want to say that following a very close halftime trivia game, we had a challenge. Challenge flag was thrown by Will about the validity of the point scoring.
So I didn't challenge anything.
Oh, Dustin did. Okay. Okay. Dustin threw the challenge. And we went back and reviewed, and yes, the answer is, what was it, 114, yes, 114 points. Total points the Seahawks have scored against the Ravens in 4 games, and that challenge, the call was unchanged. The call remained the same. So congratulations to Matt. And Matt, I believe you had a different hat to wear for this game.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. You can pop it up on the old on the screen. It was just literally laying next to me, and I just thought, well, I'll pop it on and see if it had the same effect as last week, and it did.
Amazing. Who knew?
Amazing.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, since we're celebrating Matt's 9th victory in 11 attempts here, let's go ahead and get ourselves a quick drink with our drink of the week.
I don't think anybody's celebrating. That is.
Our drink of the week, where our 12th man fan jam mixologist Moses, which is me, conjures up a delicious drink based upon the Seahawk opponent. So, gentlemen, belly up to the 12th man fan jam bar, and let me pour you a special new drink. This week we take some Buzz Balls Chillers. Yeah, I found Buzz Balls Chillers. I don't know. We're going to add some Tim Tam orange drink to that. Some Tim Moore root beer, and then top it off with some Ron Burgundy Great Odin's Raven blended Scotch whiskey. That does exist, yeah. 60% of the time, it works every time. And you make yourself there a Balls Tim Moore Raven. Balls Tim Moore Raven, yeah. 1 drink, you'll swear birds are talking to you. 2 drinks, you'll wind up like Edgar Allan Poe, passed out in someone else's clothes in the gutter. And after 3 drinks, you will drink alcohol nevermore. That's your drink of the week. Disclaimer, 12th Man Fan Jam doesn't advocate drinking or mixing the drinks discussed here. Do at your own risk. Blah, blah, blah. Milkshakes suck. Moses doesn't know how to mix anything. Attempt the previous drink at your own risk. Remember, this was done for entertainment purposes only. Always remember to drink responsibly. Okay, this quarter, we talk about injuries, stats, and lines for the Seahawk game against those Baltimore Ravens. But let's take a look at the tail of the tape real quick. When Seattle has the ball, their 7th ranked offense will be going against the 14th ranked Baltimore defense. And when Baltimore has the ball, their 11th ranked offense will go against Seattle's number 2 defense. So there's a real quick look of the tail of the tape and how these teams stack up against the rest of the NFL on the offensive side and defensive side. And now it's time for Medic Matt. Matt, do you have a key injury for this game?
I do, but it's not on our side of the game. It's on theirs. Matt Sharp has apparently got an injury with his chest. I don't know. He's pulled a breast or something. I don't know. But he's questionable for this game, so that could be interesting if that plans out. And I suppose for us, it's just the usual. Marshawn Lynch obviously out. Jordan Hill is doubtful, didn't practice. Cliff Avrill's probable. Michael Bennett's probable. DeMarcus Dobbs is out as well. So there we go. That's it.
All right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Now, what kind of stat going into this game, Statsman Mark, do you think is a really important stat and a key to winning this game for Seattle?
Well, it's he's been doing well. I mean, everything on offense is picked up, but actually, you mentioned their Raven defense.
What about the Raven defense?
It's ranked 14th.
Yes.
And their offense is ranked 11th. That right there those are interesting stats for rankings because I didn't think they'd be near.
Yes.
That good. But regardless, for as well as Wilson has been playing and throwing from the pocket, I suspect another heavy dose of Rawls. So the key stat, you could pick and choose just about anything for this game, but mine would be Rawls rushing yards.
Against the 21st ranked Baltimore defense against the run.
Okay, then I guessed correctly.
Yeah, well, I remember they play the Browns, so, don't get too excited about them being highly ranked or whatever. Right. I agree with you. Dustin, what is the line of this game started very low and then seemed to grow during the week, didn't it?
Yeah, I think what happened was they're like, East Coast team, long travel for the Seahawks, playing the Ravens, low stat line. Then they looked and realized there's 15 players on the injured reserve for the Ravens, not counting the tight end that's suspended for the rest of the year for PED use. Like, oh, well, this is basically the equivalent of a JV team in the NFL. Maybe we should give the Hawks some more points. So the Seahawks currently are favored by 12 points by most places.
Wow.
12.
Yeah. 12.
Wow.
Don't want to
My
bet that paycheck?
goodness.
Well, I
Wow.
got him at -9, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Wise. Well, a lot of people like suspended tight ends, but I don't know. Yeah, it's very juvenile of me to say. So, what's the over-under, Dustin?
Cut out.
Yeah. What? Dustin, what's the over-under for this game?
41.
41.
Which, I don't know. I think the Seahawks might score 41 themselves. So if they shut Baltimore out, I can see it.
It's scary to feel this confident, Mark, but 41, he's got a point. We may score 41 this game. What are your thoughts?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I could see the game total being over for sure. I think I'm hoping anyway, but I wouldn't surprise me if this game was a lot like the. Did we make Chicago punt 10 times?
Yes, I believe we did.
Yep.
I think actually, well, that could be my prognostication.
We'll hold that for fourth quarter, but
is forcing 7 Raven punts. So
yeah.
I could see us having shorter fields, and we get so much of the time of possession we just keep help but score.
Yeah, what you do with your score this week is you take the score of the 26-0 win for the Seahawks over Chicago, input Jimmy Clausen into this game, and then since he doesn't have Matt Forte to work with, or Martellus Bennett, he doesn't have a tight end to work with, or wide receiver.
Right.
I think you double both scores really. So maybe it ends up being 52-0.
Will, you like that strategy?
That would be nice.
Well, okay. Well, let me ask seriously now. I mean, we're laughing about this game, ha ha. Should we? I hate to be the Debbie Downer of Seahawk teams from past years, and this is not your typical Seahawk team, and I know that. But should we really be this confident? Will, is this something that are we setting ourselves up for a 23-20 game here, or we really should win by like 30?
We really should win by like 30. Any given Sunday, you always got to have that caveat. But no, the Ravens have lost too much. Their season's in free fall. We're peaking at the right time. If we're the team we looked like last week and the week before and the week before that, we're not going to win 23-20. This game will be another comfortable victory for us.
Yeah, it should be.
I think what Moses was alluding to there is that sometimes people overlook a team, and I think he's asking if this is a trap game for the Seahawks, knowing about all the injuries.
I don't buy it. I don't think this team is looking past anybody just because
I don't either.
I think they're having so much fun playing this well. I think they want to go in and keep it going. I don't think they're getting overconfident. I just think they're having fun.
Well,
it's that time of year for them. It's that time of year where they
and I
get it
also
done.
think in order to pull that upset, you have to have a go-to guy. Like, for example, an Adrian Peterson, or like you said, a Martellus Bennett. You have to have a go-to guy that's just going to explode, and you can ride him into an upset. Who do they have right now for that? With missing Steve Smith, missing Joe Flacco, missing
their
Justin
top
Forsett.
2 offensive tackles.
Yeah,
they're gone.
I just don't see it. I don't see it either. But real quick, Matt, the over/under is 41. Do you care?
Sorry, I was busy polishing my trivia trophies. I didn't. What were you saying?
Oh, okay. Well,
that's all he's polishing.
I don't think he'll be polishing a prediction trophy. I don't think that one is on your list. But as he's polishing his trophies, God, I can't believe I said that. All right, let's get ready for the fourth quarter.
Lovely and shiny on the end.
Is precious.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
Yes, coming up next, predictions, prognostications, and game balls for your upcoming game between the Seahawks and the Ravens. Right after this quick station identification, you're listening and watching the 12th Man Fan Jam Show. We put the more in Nevermore. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
There he is. Look at that bad man. Bad man? Who's that bad man? This is Russell Wilson country. And this, Russell Wilson air. You see that? Whose bird is that? That's Russell Wilson's bird.
And now, it's time for the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to lead us through the final quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, welcome to the fourth quarter of episode 321 of your 12th Man Fan Jam show. It's time for our predictions, prognostications, and game balls for the Seahawks-Ravens game coming up this Sunday. This year we'll be keeping score on how well we do on our predictions. The scorings will be like this. Game balls get 3 points. Prognostications hit 3 points. If nobody hits, the closest gets a point. Predictions, both scores on the button, 5 points. One team scored 3 points. Closest gets a point. And the overall scores I'm going to let happen here for a minute. Will over Dustin, Dustin over Moses, Moses over Mark, Mark over Guest, and then Guest over Matt, who was polishing his trophies. We take a little break between quarters and we kind of get ready for the next quarter and we talk a little bit. And it got rather nasty here between some of you guys. And there's a little animosity between the guys and Matt. Matt, are you okay?
Sorry, Moses. I was just polishing all my other trophies from the trivia from last season as well.
Oh, dear God.
What was the question?
Oh, dear God. Okay, 34. We've had 34 now to date. 34 trivias on this show. I think it's their 63rd show. 34 trivias. Matt has won 17 out of 34. So,
and that still seems low.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it feels low.
Yes. All right. Well, okay. Let's go ahead and get our predictions going for the Ravens game. Our guest predictor this week is a very special friend, Becky Selm. Becky has Becky'sPlace.net. It's a fantastic web page. She at one time was the web designer for some famous Seahawks, and in the 90s, she and I and her husband, we all met online when the Seahawks were getting ready to move, threatening to move under Bearing to LA. That's how long I've known her. She's a dear friend of mine, and she wrote this, and this is brilliant. This is exactly what she wrote, and I wrote this down because this is very funny. This is typical Becky, or as I call her, Kansas, because she lives in Kansas. He says, okay, let's see. They may be starting a new quarterback who's had about 2 weeks to learn the playbook, right? And he'll be thrown to the number 3 receiver who's become the number 1 receiver, and maybe the only receiver if they end up putting Brown on IR. And he'll be thrown against the Seahawks defense. Boom. 4 turnovers in the game. At least 2 will be interceptions, maybe 3, and at least 1 fumble. So that's her prognostication. Game ball goes to, oh, this is just delicious. There are so many choices. I'm going to have to give it to a defense because their offense is just not going to stand a chance against our guys. Let's see. KJ Wright's going to get the game ball. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but he's our man. Score 35-10, Seahawks, of course, and I'm being generous to the Ravens and giving them 10 points. So it has been written, so it will be done. So, thank you, Becky, for that wonderful, fantastic prediction. And please go to Becky'sPlace.net. It's a fantastic Seahawks site. She has a lot of history with the Seahawks. She has a lot of different things. She really is a fantastic person, a great friend, and a wonderful, wonderful Seahawk fan. So, that all being said, praise to our guest. We now move on to Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
Do you have a prediction for us for this week?
I do. And this will be 31-13 Seahawks.
All right.
The prognostication earlier will be at least 7 Raven punts.
7 Raven punts.
7 Raven punts. And you know what? Boy, I don't score much in this in trivia or in the in the standings otherwise. So I'm going to go with an obvious one. And I won't take RW, but I will take Rawls.
He will take Rawls. Okay. Matt from Merry Old England.
Hello.
You stop polishing your trivia question trophies and give us a score.
That's what we're calling it.
That's what you kids are calling it now.
Yeah, that's what we call it over here.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a score. Now, because I am so appalling at the whole of this, I almost feel like whenever I say the opposite should happen. So I almost feel like I should be picking Baltimore here just because it's safe. But what I'm going to do is say that Seahawks are going to score 41, and the Ravens are going to score 14.
Oh, okay.
My prognostication the Ravens will suffer 3 turnovers. I'm not deciding whether they're going to be fumbles or interceptions, but they're going to suffer 3 turnovers.
Okay.
And I'm going to give my game ball to Walls.
All right. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses.
How you doing? You, by the way, very quietly, very confidently, leading almost from beginning to end at the whole prediction thing. Yeah. But no, it's not saying anything like our friend across the ocean there, but...
Yes, well, I don't need to polish my trophies.
Because you haven't got any.
No!
No!
No.
Snap!
I don't need any to validate myself, so...
Just as
And
well,
you can
'cause you
take
haven't
that
got
any way you want. But anyway, before I chime in, I just want to echo what Moses said about Becky. She's a wonderful person. She's an amazing Seahawk fan, and hope she's doing well. Have a very Merry Christmas. Hi, Becky.
Absolutely.
All right, enough of that camaraderie. Go big or go home. My score prediction: Seahawks 31, Ravens nothing.
Wow!
I'm predicting the shutout.
Love
There
it.
it is.
Just because I can.
Yeah.
Prognosticating 5 sacks, 5 or more sacks by Seattle's defense.
All right.
However, I will echo all these guys. Well, actually, no, I won't. I was going to give it to Rawls, but I've got to dare to be a little bit different. So I'll give mine to the guy who's been absolutely ridiculous of late, and give it to Russell Wilson.
All right. Hi, Dustin.
Hey!
You got a score for us? You got a little score for us? You want to
A little bit.
give us a score?
I got a little score. It's
You got a
not so
score?
much a little score though. I'm gonna take Will's score. I'm gonna raise him 2 Seahawks touchdowns, and I'm gonna call it 45-0 Seahawks.
45-0. I love that score.
I like it too. It's fun.
It's fun. 45-0, everyone. A score everyone can enjoy.
Well,
What's your-
everybody on our side.
Yeah,
can
that's
enjoy.
true.
And then my prognostication, I'm going to say Deshaun Shedd's going to get his first interception this season.
Ah, nice. I would like to see that. That guy's been playing very well.
Yep. And then I'm going to be a broken record with the game ball because I wrote it down and I'm not going to change it. I'm going with Rawls.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm going with Rawls is because we're going to jump up to a lead so fast that we're going to have to just try and get the game over, run the ball a ton. He's going to get a lot of touches, put up a bunch of yards, and probably score a few touchdowns. So he gets the ball.
Excellent. Well done, sir. All right, gentlemen, I guess it comes to me now. You know, the Seahawks and the Ravens have only played 4 times before this Sunday's matchup, but to me, a couple of them have been quite memorable. I mean, who can forget that clock snafu in 2003 in Baltimore? The Seahawks trying to break that win on the road moniker under Holmgren, leading the game 41-24 in the fourth quarter, then it happened. With 58 seconds left, and Seattle had 41-38. Sean Alexander gained 3 yards to the 33, but headlinesman Ed Camp threw a penalty flag because he thought Floyd Womack, old pork chop, lined up ineligible. Ravens called their final timeout, but the clock was stopped anyway to discuss the penalty. They determined there was no penalty, let the play stand, gave Baltimore its timeout back, but he didn't restart the clock. And as a result, Baltimore saved its timeout until the final after the play, saving 40 seconds that it used when it got the ball back to tie the game with a field goal, and then won in overtime. And once again, the refs stepped into the way of a Seahawk victory. Good times, good times. All right. That's one memorable. But as Will's, and I was not happy
Should have
either.
started when the ball was fine.
Woo!
Yeah.
But see, to me, the most memorable game was in 2011. Who will ever forget Marshawn Lynch, figuratively, not literally, breaking the ankles on linebacker Ray Lewis on a crucial third down conversion, allowing Seattle to run out the clock on a hard-earned smash-mouth 22-17 game that I personally recognize as the official birth of the smash-mouth, in-your-face football under the Carroll era of Seahawk football that we are now in the middle of. But don't look for a historical day Sunday. Instead, look for a Seahawk defense to hold the Ravens' low-flying offense to under 200 yards for the game total. That's my prognostication. Look for the game ball recipient Doug Baldwin to continue to make an opponent defensive backs angry and flustered. Look for the seats in Baltimore to empty after halftime. And look for the Seahawks to win by a score of Seattle Seahawks 34, Baltimore Ravens 9.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Wow. Woo. Woo. Take that. Mic drop. All right. Looks like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12th Man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us. It was, as usual, a show that raised the bar here at the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. We certainly hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something along the way. And what did we learn along the way? Well, we learned that Mark likes to throw scones and flushes with his feet. We learned that you can throw a challenge flag during trivia.
It was the first.
Yeah, we learned who won the first annual Kelly Jennings Award.
Yes.
And finally, we learned that Moses has a shy bladder. So, on behalf of my partner, Crime Matt, from Merry Old England, our news hound, Shadowhawk Will, Stats Man Mark, and Dustin as the Beaver. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity saying, enjoy the game Sunday, and as always, go Hawks!
Go
Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Yeah.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.